Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Tawana with Tawana's Talking Tips powered by Make Me Over Styles. In this video, we're going to talk about what happens when things are going slow in your business. It happens, okay? So I'm going to go over some tips and some things that you can do to help you when you're experiencing this. Hang in there. Okay, so welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Tawana with Tawana's Talking Tips. If you have not had a chance to subscribe to this channel, definitely do so right now. Also comment. Let me know if you have any questions or if it's a video or something like that you would like me to do. You know my goal. If you subscribe to my channel, you know my goal is to have 1,000 subscribers in year 2021 and to put 100 women in the wholesale yoni business. Okay. All right. So did you subscribe? Thank you so much. Okay, so in this video, as you see, we're going to talk about what happens when things are running slow. Okay, so let me just start here. I don't think anybody's business that makes consistently $100,000 a year, or, you know, for those of you that are like pretty high earners, like some that are making over $100,000 a month, they started just where you are. Okay. Just because you don't see them talk about those days, or just because you probably noticed them as they probably moved up in ranks, I'm here to tell you that they've had those days, okay? And even for those that are earning those types of incomes every month or every year, they still have days that are slow, okay? It's not only you. So we're going to talk about some things that you can do so that when these things are going on, or when you are having slow days, that you're constantly putting things into your arsenal. You're constantly putting things into your funnel so that at some point you're going to get on the upchuck and you'll certainly get consistent. But I still have to tell you, and I still have to be honest and let you know that you will still have those days, but that is okay. Okay, so let's just get to it. Running a business is not easy, okay? And if it was, everyone would do so. If running a business was as easy as it looks, and from the outside, I think a lot of people look at it like, oh, I'm going to make all this money. And don't get me wrong, we are not in business for nonprofit. We are in business for profit. But for me, I learned after years that what I'm in business for and what my overall goal is for my timing. Like I don't get me wrong, I enjoy business. I enjoy the funds, the revenue that it brings, but the freedom of my time, that's priceless. Because let's just be honest, you can make money all day, okay? Whatever you do, I don't care if you wash cars, I don't care if you, whatever you get up and do every day, if you consistently do it, you'll make money. So I had to learn that money isn't the goal, it's freedom, and it's my time. So first of all, you need to know your why. But anyway, once we figured out that this thing is not going to be easy, it will make some days a little smoother when sales are slow. So let me just say about me. I don't have days that I don't make sales often, but I have to be honest and tell you that I do have them, and I do have slow days. But let me tell you why that's okay with me. Okay. So for example, a lot of you guys that are watching me right now, you're starting up a business or you're thinking about one, but you're still employed. So you're still full-time employed, or you're still part-time employed, or however, you know, your situation is. But what I can tell you is that you consistently go to work, whether it's part-time or full-time, because if you didn't, you couldn't keep the job, right? So the first thing that we have to know when we run our business is that we have to run our business not only to that standard, we have to keep a higher standard. Okay, so even when, say for example, we work at a fast food restaurant, and when you go in that day, you don't know if you're going to be extremely busy, or you don't know if it's going to be slow. Okay, but at the end of the day, you are there to do a job. All right, so that is sort of the way that we have to think about it in business. It doesn't matter if you're getting a lot of sales that day, or it doesn't matter if you're slow, you still have to work the 4 hours if you're part-time, or you still have to work the 8 hours if you're full-time, okay? So you have to keep that same mindset in business. So let me tell you why that matters. So say, for example, on a slow day, and, you know, there's not a lot going on or whatever, but you're still at work, but we're talking in terms of your business. So say, for example, you're not extremely busy in the drive-through, but that gives you time to go and organize maybe the fry containers. Maybe that gives you a little bit more time to organize the sanitation areas. Maybe that gives you a little bit more time to maybe prep your bags or whatever you have to do, so that when it gets busy again, you'll be prepared, right? So I want you to think of business in the same terms. Okay, so when times are slow, I don't want you to, you know, look at yourself and think, oh my God, like what's going on? I made X amount of dollars last month, or I made $300 yesterday and I hadn't made any more money in 3 days. That's not the way you think of it. Because this is what you have to understand. Our mind controls everything. So once you start getting these negative things in your mind, for example, like I'm not making a sale, it actually controls a lot of things, right? So subconsciously, you're discouraged. Subconsciously, you have sort of threw in the towel for that week or whatever, because you're just thinking like this is not going to come through. But if you subconsciously said or thought in your mind, I'm going to get myself prepared because I know these sales are coming through. I'm going to get myself together because I know this is going to happen. So when I speak of your arsenal, or when I speak of your funnel, this is what I'm speaking of. This is your preparation. So, for example, if in 1 week you were slow, but you said, I'm going to make sure that I contact or I email or I am in the face of 3 potential people that could use my product. Now, see, you may not be making money that day, but do you realize you're putting things in your arsenal? See, it may not happen that day, but you're planting your seed. This is as important, if not more important, than the money. I'm a living witness. Let me give you a little example. One day, I answered an email. This was one of the days that I really wasn't busy. And I found that not only did I have to answer that email, there were several of them that had went in spam folders, and like a whole bunch of stuff was going on because I was just so busy getting out orders. Well, that day I decided, you know what, I'm slow. I'm going to catch up on all these emails. Well, one lady in particular emailed me, and she had explained to me how she watches me on here, and how she had, you know, joined my group. She's in my Instagram and that sort of thing. Anyway, she really, really made me feel good, because it was like, oh my God, somebody's listening. Like somebody, like somebody believes in me, and like they potentially want to buy or purchase products and start their own business. But when I was answering that email, when I replied back, that's not what I was thinking that day. I didn't think that, you know, she would purchase something. She had a lot of questions, and I explained to her that I would answer as many of them as I can. So let me say this. When I answered her email, in all honesty, I probably gave her a little bit more time than I actually would have gave somebody that purchased my consultation. But I felt like since I was so behind and I hadn't answered the email in days, that I owed her that, right? So this is where the passion of your business comes in. So even though I wasn't making money, even though the sales were slowed down, my passion said she wants to know about what you do. Tell her. So I did. And so not only did she purchase my consultation program, after I consulted her and explained to her, now keep in mind, in the first 2 or 3 back and forths in the email, I gave her some jewels, but I didn't say everything that I would say in the consultation. But I think I still gave her more than I would probably give like the average person that just asked me a question. So anyway, but after that, she ended up purchasing my consultation. And I went into depth about how she could start her business and that sort of thing. And she asked me a few more questions about my products. Well, she actually got to the nit and grit about products because she was a nurse practitioner. She's currently a nurse practitioner, right? So she had a lot of questions, and I can respect that. And in fact, she actually shared some things with me. So I'm going somewhere with this. When we got off the phone, she said, will you send me your website? Will you send it to me an email? And I'm going to look over it when I get home. And I'm probably going to purchase a few things because I have a pop-up shop coming up in the next month. And I said, okay, well, no problem. We got off the phone. We had a great conversation. I'll talk about vibes later. But anyway, she just vibed so well with me on the phone. So anyway, after that, we got off the phone. I didn't think anything else about it because, again, I'm still in my arsenal. I'm still having to answer emails. I'm still having to do the busy work. Okay? I'm still having to update my group. I'm still having to update my social media. I'm tinkering with my website, making sure everything is in line on my website. So this day was pretty busy, even though I wouldn't get orders. So that afternoon, I get out of work, because I used to try to cut off at like 7 o'clock. And when I mean get out of work, I mean work for myself, not somebody else. But anyway, I get off and I see a alert on my website. And this lady made one purchase for over $600. Okay? So now do you get what I'm saying? So even though sales were slow that day, okay? In my mind, I didn't get discouraged. All right? Whatever I think or whatever I believe, trust me, it's going to come to pass. I don't care if you said I can't have it. I don't care if you said it can't happen. I don't care if you said this procedure has to be done before, or these credentials have to be down before this happened. That's never been me. I've never been qualified for anything that I received. I've worked in marketing, radio and television 21 years. I don't have even a freaking, come on now. I say this in previous videos. I teach interns. I mentor these people and they've been to college. Okay? That's just how I am. But anyway, I stood on just the principle that I'm explaining to you right now. I don't get discouraged when things are slow because I know in my mind, if I do the work, if I put these things in my arsenal, then it's gotta come back to me. Or if I plant these seeds, I'm looking for the tomatoes. You can't tell me those tomatoes are not coming. And for my Christians, the Christians that are looking at me right now, faith without works is dead, right? So I'm one of those type people, like when I ask God for something, I don't go back and bother him again, right? I'm not one of those people that go back and say, God, did you hear me? Did you forget about me? First of all, I feel like it's an insult. Second of all, I feel like it's disrespect because maybe God is working on somebody else that was in line before me, right? How could I insult him and ask him, did he forget me? He'll never forget me. All right. So I'm gonna get off it because I could talk about that all day. All right. So I want to know what your daily habits are for your business. Like, have you set on your calendar? And I don't mean a fancy calendar because I'm gonna let you see mine that I have right now. Let me see. Let me show you. You see this? This is not anything fancy. This is not my fancy phone. This is not anything fancy. You can find one of these in a Dollar Tree or wherever. I don't think this one came out of a Dollar Tree, but it was inexpensive. Let me just say that. But anyway, I write these things down in here. I don't expect myself to remember them. Okay? I have to make myself accountable. And the way I make myself accountable is because I have to look at it. I have to stare it in its face. If I say, I'm going to update my website. Or, for example, Father's Day is coming up. One of my goals before the end of this week is to put my Father's Day promotion together. All right? So for those of you that get on my website and stuff like that, I'm going to do a men's bar soap and a men's beard oil. I'm going to do a package deal, right? But there are so many things going on every day. Like, for example, I have about 45 orders to fill before the end of the week. I could let that overwhelm me so much that I don't stick to my script. Okay? So I'll go back to the restaurant. McDonald's could be booming and you go to work that day and it's busy, busy, busy. That drive-through is busy, right? Well, that doesn't mean that there's somebody in the prep department is still not responsible for prepping food for tomorrow. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter those days when you're booming. It doesn't matter about those days when you're slow. Consistency matters and consistency counts. Okay? And I know I say this all the time in my videos, but quit comparing your business to somebody else's. Quit doing it. Quit doing it. You're doing nothing but shooting yourself in the foot. You can't worry about what they're doing. I'm a living witness. You can't worry about what anyone else is doing. You have to do what you're going to do. Okay? So we have to be honest in our life about those things that that we're challenged by. Because when you stare those things in their face, then you can conquer them. You can conquer them. One of my challenges, whether you know it or not, I wouldn't say it's consistency, but when I write down these things, when I go ahead and make my to-do list, sometimes I'll look at one and say, oh, that was going to take a little time. Let me skip over that one. And sometimes I'll put it at the bottom and keep bumping the other ones up, right? But there comes a time when I got to stare that one in his face and get it done, right? So, look, even when you're in one of those type of situations and you're looking at one, you're thinking, dang, I don't want to do that one. That one's pretty hard. Don't think of it as a big one, okay? Think of it as one that is big, but I can chop it up in fours. So it's like a big old plate of food. How can you swallow all that food at one time? You cannot. You're going to have to take the fork, you're going to have to cut it, you're going to have to dice it, and you're going to have to eat it in sections, right? But you'll get it down. You'll get it down. So somebody needs to hear this. There are going to be days that you're slow. I don't care who you're looking at on Instagram. I don't care whose podcast you're looking at. I don't care what big YouTuber you're looking at. I promise you they started just like you. So let's remember this also. People don't usually share their disappointments. You don't see your friends, family, and coworkers or whatever on social media telling you about the bad days. They love to tell you about the good days. They love to share with you about the triumphant times, but they usually never share the dark times. So remember that. So that may be why you didn't see so-and-so's corporate company or whatever when they did not have any followers. You just started noticing them when they started getting up in the 100Ks, right? That's usually how it goes, okay? So be encouraged. There's no days off. If you work your part-time job or your full-time job, whatever schedule they put you on, and you're there every day, you do that because you're afraid if I don't do this, they're going to fire me or I'm not going to get my benefits, okay? And that same, I don't even want to say fear because your business should not, let me say this. There are some goals that I set for myself. I do it on purpose to scare myself because I like challenges. I'm just one of those type of people. But what I mean when it comes to business is if you're going to consistently go to your job every day and you're going to give them 4 hours or 8 hours, or if not more a day, 12 hours, your business deserves the same attention. Okay? Because your business is something that you own for the rest of your life. You never know when they'll come in that day and dismiss you. So why would you make them your priority and not your business? And don't get me wrong. I know we have to have leverage. I do know that, once you work 8 hours, 12 hours a day, sometimes you're tired. I get that. But what I'm saying is let's put a realistic plan down. Let's be consistent. Even if you can't give your business 3 hours a day or whatever, let's put the time down that we can and let's stick to it. I challenge you to stick to it. I challenge you to stick to the script. I challenge you to do it for 6 months. Okay? So even when those times are slow, let me tell you what will happen. So for example, in the last week or two, my business has been slow. But let me tell you why that's okay. First of all, I didn't want to be overwhelmed because I knew I'd be traveling. And I knew that I have only a certain time frame to get orders out. The second thing is that my business is taking a whole nother direction from when I first opened it. Now, I service more wholesale orders than I do retail orders. So even when it's slow, it's not like it's a slow order for $20. Maybe, I only got 3 orders that week, but those orders range from $300 to $700. Do that make sense? Kind of get it? So there you go. Anywho, I certainly hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Tawana with Tawana's Talking Tips, powered by Make Me Over Styles, encouraging you and letting you know that these things are normal. There will be slow days, but you will be fine. I want to know if you're consistent. And as long as you're consistent, it's going to be okay. I thank you for looking at this video. Please subscribe, share with your family and your friends. And I'll be hitting you up with another video very soon. Ciao for now.